Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Vinanjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Who all do we see here tonight, Madhu? Who all is here?
We've had a gallery.
Yeah, gallery, yes.
Okay.
Vista.
Ah. Jai. Anupama.
Is West London? Is
West London.
Ah. Jai Lavanimoy. Okay. How many Lavani? Just one? All right. Well, tonight's topic, if we would hear these talks, we would faint. Reminds me of how valuable it is that we have great guides. Our gurus are not, they're protecting us from going off the path. It's very easy for a beginner practitioner to come to conclusions by hearing a little bit that are actually not exactly right and maybe even far off the path. So I was just thinking of things that Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj have taught us in this. What is it that makes us have such an emotion? And how can we be certain that we are hearing properly what our line is, what is truth, and not some strange version of truth that's rampant? So the first thing that I found is actually from it's listed in Affectionate Guidance in chapter 4, which is called Our Lifeline of Devotional Practice. And there, Srila Gurudev tells the story of the inscription at the opening of the Nat Mandir in Navadvip Dham. We love that so much, over the picture of Govardhan Hill and the Panchatattva, or the Harinam party. And so I just wanted to share this. And as always, if somebody has a question or comment, we very much want you to just make a note. Let us know that you have something to share. All right, this is something that Srila Gurudev said. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur preached, Matala Harijana Kirtana Range, Puja Laragapata Gaurava Bange. This is inscribed above the front entrance of the Nat Mandir here at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And later a picture relief has come out above it, illustrating its meaning. Gaurava Bange means there are some rules and regulations. From afar, we shall worship the Ragapat, the path of spontaneous, affectionate service, while we ourselves live within the Vedic guideline. If we think that we have become a gopi, that is not the real feeling. But if we think that we want to become a servant of the gopis, that is the real thing. The process is Shravanam and Kirtanam. When we have established ourselves in the plane of full dedication, from there we shall start our real bhajan life under the guidance of a sadhu. And then a person asks Srila Gurudev, so what is the actual meaning of Gaurava Bhange? And he answers, Gaurava means Vidhi. Narayan is the Gaurava deity, but Gaurava Bhange means the honorable guideline of the scriptures. And from that position, we are always to give honor from afar to Raga Marg. Raga Marg is a very high plane. Why? Because in that plane there is only affectionate attachment to Krishna. That is the plane of affectionate service. And another question, in this verse, what is the reference to Gaurava Bhange? In what way is this verse referring to Vidhi? And Gurudev answers, Matala Harijana Kirtana Range and Pujala Raga Pata Gaurava Bhange. This is our life's goal. Kirtan is the first stage and also the last stage. Kirtan can take us from the lowest level to the highest level, Raga Marg. We start our practicing life through Kirtan. Mahaprabhu said, Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedashaha, from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Yajanti means bhajanti, worshipping Mahaprabhu by the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following his Sankirtan movement. Another question. I have always understood that the verse Matala Harijana Kirtana Range means our highest ideal is Raga Marg, and keeping it above us, we worship it from afar. And Srila Gurudev says, the correct idea is that we must always think it to be above us. Otherwise, we shall go down to the Sahajya line. If we say that someone is a gopi, it is perfect Sahajyism, perfect imitation. That is real Sahajyism. But if we say that someone looks like a gopi, that is not Sahajyism. We have some idea of what a gopi looks like. So if we think that a particular lady looks like a gopi, that will not be Sahajyism. But we have no right to say it actually. Otherwise, immediately we shall be on the mundane platform. No doubt someone is qualified to say so, but we shall not think that we ourselves have the right to even take the name of the gopis. Throughout the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Sukadeva Goswami did not once mention the name of Srimati Radharani. This is because he tried to guard his discourse from Sahajism. During that meeting with Maharaj Pariksit, many were present who would not have been able to understand properly if Sukadeva Goswami had mentioned the name of Radharani and her associates. If someone does not have the proper capacity to understand these topics, they will immediately go to Sahajism. For their protection, Sukadeva Goswami did not take the names of Srimati Radharani and the gopis, such as Lalita Devi and Vishaka. Their identity was shown by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his writings. He gave some light by mentioning this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani, this one by Lalita Devi, and so on. So we must worship the Ragapat from afar, and our duty at present is to serve that rank of the devotees and to engage in the congregational chanting of the Mahamantra in the association of the devotees. This is the safe and actual process for us to make advancement in our Krishna conscious practicing life. He's so clear. He doesn't make us wonder. He's not ambiguous in any way. He's only saying one clear message. And he speaks like this every time he mentions that inscription, that prayer. So does anybody have some comments yet to speak up? Okay, now I see second Lavanyamoy. Yay. If someone has heard Srila Gurudev speak on this or something similar, please tell us. I also was looking up, then naturally it follows we have the question, what is the nature of those devotees who can understand such topics, the highest of all topics, who are not going to be swayed into a false line? So how do we get there? How do we become like them? At least we can hear about them. And one thing that keeps coming up is that 24 hours a day they're surrendered to Krishna. They're not like looking at these kind of topics in an academic way or out of curiosity or for their own enjoyment of discussion, but out of pure surrender. And for example, in the Hidden Treasure in chapter 10, verses 9 and 10 are very famous for this. Mach chitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kantayantas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. That's text 9, and Krishna is telling Arjuna, always thinking of me. Those surrendered souls converse about me, enlightening one another with the nectar of their devotional realizations, ever content and ecstatic in their divine natures. And a part of the commentary to this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains, Srila Guru Maharaj is explaining, the Supreme Lord Krishna is speaking about his pure devotees. I am in the heart of their hearts, in their every thought. Their entire energy, their whole life is dedicated to my satisfaction. They converse with one another about me and experience mutual enlightenment. They also love to talk about me with whoever they meet and nothing else. For every time, place, and circumstance, I am the only subject of their discussion. They find very much satisfaction in this, tushanti cha. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam nyenamam upayanti te. To those devotees who are always lovingly engaged in my service, I give the divine inspiration by which they can come to me. So this also helps us to understand we don't have to get to this level by our own endeavor. We have our instructions for how to practice right now. And doing that, then we may be able to attract Krishna to draw us closer or to reveal anything to us, whatever. But we want to remain the servant of his servant, our Guru. And so that's our path for actually gaining. Even if we're attracted, we wish that we could be in a more intimate position. That's not a problem, but we have full faith to remain on this path. That will get us there for certain. Chinmoy Prabhu, would you like to speak?
Dandavat pranams to everyone. Indeed, this is a very high subject matter for us, and as you will see in the article that was attached to the Zoom meeting, Srila Govinda Maharaj says at one point, we should not discuss this. So maybe in future we can find other topics to discuss other than the pastimes of Radha Krishna, the loving pastimes of Radha Krishna. And of course, what we heard from Kumkum is exactly what we need to hear. There in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find shlokas that we just read. And there's no commentary, we don't talk about them, we just read them with faith and we go to the next shloka. Because these shlokas are too high, we cannot understand. So why cannot understand is because we are jiva souls. We come into this material world and lifetime after lifetime, eons and eons of lives, we have been layered with conditioning, with material conditioning, material misconception. And now we have come to this transcendental knowledge. This transcendental knowledge has been given to us that is pure, that is free from material contamination. But how are we viewing this knowledge? We are viewing it through the lens of our material contamination. It is dangerous. It is like children playing with fire. So we will not go there. We will not discuss that. It's always best to hear from a guru, a real live soul. A pure devotee of the Lord can impart that transcendental knowledge to you in its pure form, without any material contamination. Srila Govind Maharaj, when he first came to the Mat, before that he was living in a small village. His father was a very well-known kirtan player, and they knew all the songs of Jaya Dev, what's his name? Chava, Vijayapati, all these names, famous writers of kirtan songs that talked about the pastimes of Radha Krishna. And so he knew them all, he knew how to play them all, and they would discuss this in his village, they would discuss these things. And so when he came to the Mat, they tested him. Srila Sridhar Maharaj tested him on his ability to play mridanga, to sing. He asked Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj to come, Krishnadas Babaji to come and see what kind of skill he had in kirtan and mridanga playing. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave him a book, Sharanagati. And he said, you forget all the kirtan you have learned, all the songs of Jayadev, I always forget that other one, but Vijayapati, all those songs about the pastimes of Radha Krishna, you forget that and you learn these songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so he no longer played any of those songs and learned the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, speaking on surrender, speaking about the feelings of a true devotee in this material world. So the way that we do get this knowledge, that the way this knowledge enters not only our heart, but the way this knowledge enters not our intelligence, not our mind, but enters into our heart, is through service. So it's through the attitude of service that this knowledge will be imparted to you. There was, when Srila Govinda Maharaj was at the Mat in the early days, he wanted to learn a little bit of astrology, and Jyotishi it's called. And he was particularly interested in the Jyotishi where you could read palms. And there is this power, certain individuals who have this power to read a palm and they can see your future just by reading your palm. And he wanted to find those people. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj knew of one person who had that ability. And when Srila Govinda Maharaj went there to see this gentleman, he talked to one of his students, and the student said, yes, but you have to, if you want this knowledge, you have to dedicate your life to this man. For 3-4 years, you have to dedicate, and then this man will give you this knowledge. And so this is the same for a spiritual life. Although it's not 3 or 4 years. It's your entire existence dedicated to serving Guru and Vaishnava. If we can have this proper attitude toward our service life, towards the Guru and the Vaishnava, that they are all in all, and that everything that is coming from them is for our benefit, then we will make some real progress in our spiritual life. Srila Govinda Maharaj often says that, oh, I have no quality and no qualification. I came from a poor village, I was a village boy, and everything I got through Srila Sridhar Maharaj and the other Vaishnavas. Now for us, we believe that is true, of course, but also Srila Gurudev, Govinda Maharaj, he had certain quality and qualifications. Not just any person could receive this knowledge from their spiritual master. But that was his mood, that was his feeling. And the way we can say this is that everything that he got from his spiritual master, everything that, when he says he has no quality and qualification and he got everything from his spiritual master, is that all good things that were spiritually beneficial to him came from his spiritual master. When we can say that everything we need in our life is coming from our Guru Dev. Now, our Guru Dev is not going to the store and buying us cereal and milk. So, what does that mean? That means everything that is eternal, that is necessary for a spiritual life, that is coming through our Guru Dev. So everything that has any importance in our spiritual life is coming through our Guru Dev. And so what will we give in return? And so what to give in return? Everything. From who has given us the highest gift ever conceived, ever possible, what will we give in return? So, when we're hearing these topics, just hearing these topics, we don't really want to discuss them. But when we're hearing these topics, we want to do with faith. We want to do it with faith. Not that we're going to meditate on them or try to figure out what's going on exactly. It's children playing with fire. We'll be in trouble. So we will, worship these types of pastimes. We will have faith in these pastimes, but we will realize that, that transcendental knowledge, the true knowledge of what those pastimes mean, and the feeling of those pastimes, that will come through the mood of service. So, an example also given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was having one program at Radhakunda, and it was Radhastami or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But everybody expected, this is Vrindavan, this is where you talk about Radha Govinda, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. So everyone is expecting here these high topics to be discussed. Instead, what did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talk about? He talked about Prahlad Maharaj, the beginning of Shuddha Bhakta. The Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion, begins with Prahlad Maharaj. Start there. What you can imagine about the loving pastimes of the Lord, put that away for now. Focus on Shuddha Bhakti. Focus on what Prahlad Maharaj is doing, what his instructions are. Then we can start to make some progress. So there was one time too where Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying these things about the books. We don't need to read so much. But there are these very high books. I forget that, Ujmali, Neela, something, and Lalita Madhava, and all these high books dealing with these types of pastimes. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying we should be not reading these books. We should be very cautious. We should stick to what has been given by our Gurudev, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, plus the books of our gurus, and not to venture into those higher books. And someone asked him, he's like, so why were these books written? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he laughed, and he said, we are not atheists. Meaning that that someone is capable of reading these books. It's just not us. There are pure devotees that exist. They can read these books. We should just honor them and know that they exist. And then our gurus, the pure Vaishnavas, they can quote from those scriptures. I mean, we can even see that Srila Govinda Maharaj, I think he was able to quote the Brahma Samhita before he even read it. I'm pretty sure he knew the Brahma Samhita just hearing from Srila Sridhar Maharaj before he even read the book. And this is the capacity of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Srila Sridhar Maharaj would say that Srila Govinda Maharaj would say that Srila Sridhar Maharaj had this throwing capacity. Like that transcendental knowledge flowing from the lotus lips of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he had the capacity to throw it into your heart and it gets stuck there. But we believe also that Srila Govinda Maharaj had the catching capacity, which I myself lack. I lack very much this catching capacity, that be able to receive that transcendental knowledge. And this is one of the things about a pure spiritual service life, is that we try to make ourselves a good receiver. Is that we try to empty out everything that is material in our life so that we can receive that which is spiritual. Everything that is lower leaves so that the higher can descend. This is our daily practicing life. This is what is called die to live. All those negative rascals in our body, in our mind, in our intelligence, we want them to leave. We want them to exit our body. And then what do we want to be filled with? We want to be filled with the teachings of our gurus, the desire to serve, all these things. That is what is natural for the jiva soul. And so, yeah, Prahlad Maharaj, let's speak about him. We can speak about him safely. But definitely, like the higher topics, we will worship as Kumkum Didi read, that this Raga Marga, that is worshipable on our head. And we will continue with our Vidhi Marga. That we will continue with our devotional daily practices and trying to serve the Guru, trying to serve the Vaishnavas. Jai. I saw there was some chats, something in the chat. Can we check? And we have Natalia is here from Brazil. She is verifying that Chaitanya Moy is translating correctly. Oh yeah, that was keep going.
We are very blessed to be in front of their Lordship, Sri Guru Gandhavika Gopinath, Giriraj Balagopal, and many, many people here have the great fortune to be able to worship the deities. And that reminds me, when we first begin, certainly we see them as beautiful dolls. And even if we want to do some service, we we think that we want to make them look beautiful, that we are making them look beautiful. We might have some capacity to pick out good colors or good fabric or good jewelry and hair and all these things. And we may think that by our arrangement, they're beginning to look beautiful. And if we continue, if we're always associating with the devotees and under the guidance of the sadhu, and we always try to follow everything, it's definitely vidhi bhakti, many small rules and regulations. But if we follow those faithfully, then we begin to understand something. We're also hearing from the scripture about who is Krishna, who is Srimati Radharani, who is Mahaprabhu and his associates. And then we can start to get some understanding that I'm trying to be a servant here, but it's not because of me that they're looking beautiful today. So we're fortunate if we can, sometimes like Prabhu was mentioning, it's that from the negative side, we're actually making great strides. So to come to understand that we're not very advanced yet is one of the most forward and progressive and positive gifts that we can receive. We don't want to have any illusion about that we are already on a higher platform than we are. That's very confusing, so we're protected from that. I was noticing in this, in the Golden Volcano, in the prelude, there's a description of when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was departing, and he's expressing, as he prepared to leave this mortal world, his desire to fix his consciousness on the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari. He called his beloved disciple, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, to his bedside and requested him to sing the famous song of Narottam Das Thakur, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. At that time, in what has been described as a mystic transmission, he gave Srila Sridhar Maharaj entrance into the eternal entourage of Sri Rupa Manjari. According to Srila Sridhar Maharaj's vision, however, he was posted as the gatekeeper, the guardian of devotion, Bhakti Rakak, to protect the storehouse of conclusive truths about the full-fledged theistic conception of Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful, as presented in Srimad Bhagavatam and preached by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the line of disciplic succession that has descended from him, known as the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sampradaya. So if we wonder how well protected we are, these are not just beautiful words that are in the universe of people who know something about the Vedas or even something about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our gurus. We're directly protected by such soul. Srila Guru Maharaj was adamant he would not hear anyone speak about union being an easy thing. And he very much liked to hear union in separation. And he taught in that line of real union is that highest thing where the beloved is making the most sacrifices. So apparently there's separation, but because of the depth of that, and that sacrifice, that surrender is what makes it so deep and so real. And that is how the union will happen. And there's no impatience in that. We're trained directly when we hear Trina Rupi Sunichena. We don't, this isn't just about, how to behave and have cordial relationships. This is also about how to approach everything that we're being taught and not pay so much attention if our mind and our so-called intelligence begins to think that we're actually tasting something like those high books. I can read them. I can take them off of that top shelf because there it is. It's about Krishna. No, we don't want to be in that line at all. We don't want to have that kind of misunderstanding. And Srila Gurudev was so supportive of Srila Guru Maharaj, warning us against those who would think that already they have attained to some sort of, they know what the eternal pastime is with Krishna. Srila Gurudev was like a lion kicking that out. If somebody said such a thing, he would not allow that person to even stay in the mat. And even more strict than that. So we can have complete faith that we are well protected. There's the example of the mother is so affectionate to the child, and she will not let the child go and do something like play with fire, which is so bad for them. That's out of her extreme affection, even if the child is rebelling like anything or play with anything dangerous. And our gurus are like that, the most affectionate, so they won't allow harm to come to us unless we are too good at rebelling. So we don't want to be like that. There's a very sweet description of Srila Gurudev in Revealed Truth. There's one section called About the Author. Now, the author doesn't mean who compiled that book, but we know the author is words by Srila Govinda Maharaj. So there's one section where Gurudev's Pranam mantra is broken down one line at a time in beautiful discussions and expansions on the different lines in the mantra. And the one, Divya Bhagavat Premno Hi Bija Pradam, means he distributes the seed of divine love for the Supreme Lord. In 1986, Srila Sridhar Maharaj fulfilled the desire he had cherished for almost 40 years and established Srila Govinda Maharaj as the president, Sevaita Acharya, of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math and all of its centers worldwide. Thereafter, Srila Govinda Maharaj initiated the sincere seekers who approached Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math into the service of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Initiation is compared to the planting of a seed, the seed of divine love within the heart. As seeds must be nourished and protected in order to bear fruit, so Srila Govinda Maharaj affectionately guided the disciples of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Swami Maharaj, and himself in their practicing lives. His wisdom, experience, character, and charm inspired deep faith within all, and his instructions dispelled all inauspiciousness. He encouraged everyone, regardless of the position they were in, and emphasized chastity, sincerity, love, and affection. He showed by example that serving Sri Guru and Vaishnav and practicing Sriman Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Dharma is the real path towards the service of Radha Krishna in Brajadam. His foremost advice was to adhere to Sriman Mahaprabhu's formula for chanting the holy name, to be humble, be tolerant, and give honor to others without expecting it for oneself. So, our beloved Father, Srila Govinda Maharaj, is carefully showing us how we can be protected from misunderstanding. Srila Guru Maharaj one time said, "This cheap Krishna I do not want." And at first glance that sounds kind of funny. What Krishna? Don't we want Krishna 100%? But his point is very important. We all know today a computer can make up some something and say, this is Krishna, and it can look and sound very convincing. It must be true. And we know, we can look behind the scenes and understand that it's completely false. Or if we see a play, the actor may be very, very good, but if they change something that's not coming from Krishna, we have to be able to see behind all of that and understand, no, this is not. And for myself, I am too much of an infant. I am too weak to proceed to hear such things, which could be dangerous for me. And so we will seek that person who's going to keep us protected and know what it is we should be subjected to, we should be given, and when it should be given to us. There's also the comparisons with the child who's a student, and a very good teacher might recognize that one small child is incredibly intelligent and advanced, but that doesn't mean that they're going to start bringing them some materials on postdoctorate subjects. This would be most unkind. It's not what they should have at the time. And in the future, just by continuing, that will come. So our position is that we want to always be under the shelter of our great gurus who know all of this, but more important, know exactly what it is that we should be doing. They may say, do this service. They may say, chant more rounds. They may say so many different things. Go here or go there. But it's always 100% tailor-made for exactly what we require in our state. So I know that there are many thoughts. Everyone is practicing and hearing from Srila Gurudev and hearing from Srila Guru Maharaj all the time. You must have some inspiration. We would love to hear. And also any questions.
Preferably not about the pastimes of Radha Govinda. No, I can also mention, because one of the dangers we have on trying to meditate on these pastimes is what was discussed in the article she read, and that's sahajism, imitationism. We will imitate those type of pastimes. There was one gentleman who came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And there are these people who purport to have this ability to see your Siddha Deha, your spiritual body, where you are in the spiritual world. And so one day, this gentleman came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and he said, "Oh, Maharaj, can you tell me what my Siddha Deha is? What is my spiritual form?" And Srila Saraswati Thakur said to the man, "Please show it to me and I will tell you." And that man had no response. He could not show his spiritual form because he did not have one at that time. So in that way we have to be careful. And there are these people that have said, "Oh yes, I can see your spiritual form and this is your spiritual form." And we've had stories where people receive this information like, "You will be a peacock in the spiritual world." And we heard that they're up on the building practicing to act like a peacock to get ready when they go to Goloka Vrindavan and their spiritual form is a peacock. So, and other people we won't mention giving you are this gopi or this gopa, very dangerous things. So this is what Srila Sridhar Maharaj is talking about, the cheating Krishna. You know, they're giving this type of false idea of the spiritual form. Srila Govinda Maharaj addressed this very clearly for the conditioned souls, is that they have not received their spiritual form yet. Their Siddha Deha, it has not manifested itself. It exists, but it has not manifested. Someone has a hand raised? Vajavala Dasi?
Dandavat Pranam, Chinmoy Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
I think we have met with you once at Villa Govinda many years ago. I don't know if you remember me. It was quite a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6. But I have a question as someone who is very uneducated person, because I'm someone who is very like beginner in bhakti yoga, and I've heard you speaking about Siddha Deha. Could you please maybe elaborate a little bit what do the word Siddha Pranali mean? Because I've heard this, but if you can elaborate, what does it mean?
Siddha Deha, what it means.
No, not I know what Siddha Deha means, but Siddha Pranali.
Pranali, Siddha Pranali. Not sure about Pranali. I'd have to think about that.
I know that Siddha Deha means a spiritual body, but I don't know what Siddha Pranali means, because I've heard this terminology before. But when I've heard you speaking like so knowledgeably about Siddha Deha, I thought maybe you could also elaborate about Siddha Pranali.
I mean, I imagine has something to do, prana is life, Siddha Prana, so your spiritual life, I would imagine, is something to do with that. Maybe there's somebody else on the Zoom who would have that knowledge.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you anyhow. Thank you. Thank you very much for your beautiful Harikatha.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, so we just have to be careful about these subjects. And
We
know
have
that
a-
oh,
We have a hand raised here, but
Oh,
we
very
didn't have
good.
time to do it on the. It's from Nandapur.
Dandavat Devotees.
Dandavat.
My question is for Kumkum. Kumkum, in regards to emptying ourselves out in order to continue on our path, what can you elaborate on that? Obviously, we're trying to empty ourselves out in front of the deities, but we're also trying to empty ourselves out in a moment-to-moment basis.
Yes, this is a description of our purification. Like Cheto Darpana Marjanam, we want to chant and remove all of the dirt as much as possible, as quickly as possible. There's the example about if you want to see yourself and your mirror is covered with dust, then how can you see yourself? So you remove the dirt from that mirror and then you see your reflection there, no problem. And our resistance to surrender will make us the opposite of empty. We'll have too much, we'll be creating karma. We'll have too many things going on that it makes it too hard for us to deal with the urgent, as something Srila Prabhupada would say a lot, which is a common expression in India, is do the needful. And so if we have too many other desires, we have to make other arrangements, and they're not really for our best self-interest, then we won't be empty at all. We'll be adding, we'll be becoming more and more full, and then all those karmic reactions will come to those decisions. We have to get rid of all of that. And I'm thinking there might be some more direct quote on that. I'm telling you my understanding, but it's in line with Krishna consciousness is for the simple-hearted. It's very easy for the simple-hearted. So the less that we have to create, our objections, our reasons why we cannot surrender, we can examine those. See, why don't I, like, we don't want to get up in the morning. It's our nature to be lazy, be in bed, do something else. And then when we go to the Arctic, we go to hear the kirtans, and I would have missed all of this. And then we can see that life is very, very clear. It's full of joy, and the other things are, I don't have to attend to all of that. It got taken care of. It just went away, all of these other things that were just cluttering up. We need the cooperation of our mind to be paying attention to our intelligence. And so if the mind is not paying attention to our intelligence, which is directed by the soul, then we are thinking so much of the sense objects. That's what the mind is going to do otherwise. And then we just accumulate these sense objects. We have the interactions with them. We have fights with other people because of them. We over-endeavor for things which are too hard to attain because of these other things that we're filling up ourselves with. So, empty is much better. We can be on a straight path forward. We can be a better servant. We can say yes to more. If service comes our way, it's not that it's in the way. It's a great fortune if a service opportunity comes to us, and we want to always be seeking that. So that means we want to arrange our life in such a way that we can say, yes, I'm available for that. I can do that. I don't have all of these other things that I have to do that, and I have to do that. My mind won't be there, and even my time. My time is precious, but it won't be available if I filled it up with too many other ideas that aren't even in my best self-interest. Is that sort of what you were looking for? Actually,
that was wonderful.
It's a wonderful question, and it's what our gurus have designed our practicing life for, whether we're in the temple or we're living by ourselves. They've designed a wonderful life for us, what to do, to chant, especially early in the morning, to attend programs, to associate with great devotees, and to not associate with non-devotees. And that's why they're making all of these recommendations, and they're very insistent, actually. Sometimes they hide that feeling of insistence because they want us to be happy enough to go on, but as much as we can take, they're trying to get us to surrender more and more and be exactly like you're saying. Just don't keep dragging these things on. I can't remember which canto it is, but one of the Srimad Bhagavatam cantos has a picture of all those beautiful paintings from the beginning the artists in ISKCON created. And there's one that shows us a bewildered soul. He's not currently embodied. He's between lives, and he's walking to his next life. And behind him is so many things of his attachments, so many different people, former projects, former things that were very important. And there's a long, long line, and he's having to drag them all. And this is a very good example of what we don't want to be doing. And by the grace of our gurus, we can begin to understand we don't have to. We can go the other way, where we're just in a position where if service comes to us, we can say, yes, I can do that. I have the energy, I have the time. And understand that's the most fortunate life, if we can do that.
Srila Sridhar Maharaj also speaks about the idea of being a superconductor. That the superconductor is that what can transport electricity in normal cases, most cases, without any resistance. So you get the most amount of electricity is going through that tube with no resistance. This is a superconductor. And so we want to become that superconductor. We want what is coming from above, what is coming from the transcendental world, we want that to flow through us without any resistance. And what is that resistance? Well, Krishna is very close to us. It's very near. The scriptures tell us this. It's one thing in the way, and that is a mountain of ego. And that's what we have to chip away at. Day after day, this mountain of ego. And then we too can become superconductors. That which is, it's not that we will just be empty and that is the end. We will be full. But what will we be full of? Electricity. We'll be full of the transcendental world, the mercy of the Lord. We'll be full of that. And that will be coming through us. I mean, my goal is that when I speak is that I am a parrot. And only words that come out of my mouth, I have heard from Srila Gurudev or Srila Govinda Maharaj. Or Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. That is my goal. That is my desire, is that whatever I'm saying, I heard it from them. And hopefully you can appreciate, I'm not very good at speaking and not very good at expressing exactly the way they are able to, the way they have touched my heart, but there is some hope that hopefully that you'll be able to appreciate their words. And if you do, please try to read their books, try to listen to their audio, and try to see their videos, because it's incredible how these pure Vaishnavas, are acting as superconductors and have that throwing capacity to touch our heart.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu, that's exactly how we want to be. And we all have the experience of how our gurus are exactly that. When we first heard from them and something touched our heart, it was so strong, and that's because Krishna is in our heart and told us that, yes, this is what you want to hear. And so when we try to do some service for them and we're immediately happy if we satisfy them, that's because they're a superconductor. They're not taking anything of what we offered to them for themselves. It's all immediately going up to that same Supreme Lord. And that's why the entire world is satisfied, is more blessed when somebody makes some offering to a pure devotee, because Krishna is immediately satisfied. We may think our guru is offering to his guru and is offering to his guru, and if we, in a normal sense, if something had to go through so many different hops along the way to get to the destination, it would take a very long time and it would change. But the pure devotee is going to be that superconductor who just takes everything as for Krishna.
And Brajavala Dasi, again, you have a hand raised.
Yes, if I may, please. I just want to express to Chinmoy Prabhu, thank you very much for revealing to us this idea of superconductor. It is as if directly from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I just find this idea and this concept that you so beautifully expressed just to be, it's amazingly beautiful. And my question is to you, because I know that you have watched an enormous amount of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's lectures, because you are the one who are publishing them on YouTube, right?
Correct.
So if you may please give some practical advice on how to chip away this amount of ego. For example, when we are in the situation that we are able to observe, okay, right now, like my ego is trying to do something, and I don't want that because I want to follow like the pure devotees line, right? So what is the practical extraction that Srila Sridhar Maharaj would want us to do in this situation? If you could give some like practical advice, like what should be our thinking, like what should be our practical day-to-day on a day-to-day basis? Thank you in advance.
Jai, beautiful question. That's wonderful. It's 8:30, but I think we have our topic for next week. Jai,
Jai.
Sevarup, are you listening? How to remove the mountain of ego. Simple, quick answer is just our sadhana. You have to have sadhana. Every day you have to set aside some time for your spiritual life. One very important thing that Srila Govinda Maharaj said, we have to be serious about our spiritual life. There's just no other way. We have to be serious about it. So if you are serious, you will find a way to increase your sadhana every day. Jai.
Jai.
But it is a very good topic. There's much more that we can hear on this. So, Sevarupa, you heard? Yes. She's smiling, so I think she heard.
So we have a little preview of coming attractions.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad. Sorry about that. Yes, I heard, and actually the one that I did post was where Srila Sridhar Maharaj was speaking to Swami Maharaj, and it was their relationship and how they, spoke about these high topics that I think some disciple had asked, and he was just like, "Oh, you'll faint." So yeah, sorry about the
Yeah.
whole miscommunication on the topic, but yes, we will be more vigilant and more careful next time. So my obeisances and sorry.
No apologies. Everything is wonderful.
Yeah.
Jai.
Yeah.
Krishna Katha, we can find a way to talk about Krishna with almost everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay. With much appreciation for everyone coming together and showing some of your beautiful hearts, we'll say Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai.
Jai Gurudev. Dandavad pranams.